Hello, Sagittarius North Node. This is Samara, your feminist alchemist. Welcome to your reading for the October new moon, which is October 6th, leading into the November new moon, or right before it, on November 3rd. So, this is a general reading, so the messages may not resonate with everybody. Just take what strikes a chord with you and let the rest float away in the ether for whoever else in your Sagittarius North Node collective may need to hear that message at this time. If you're feeling this reading, give it a like, a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and click the bell to be notified when I upload, which is every new moon. If you're asking yourself, what is the North Node anyway, Samara? Well, I can sum it up as a mathematical point in your birth chart that signifies your source of soul expansion in this lifetime. So it tells you where your growth opportunities lie. And once you accept your North Node calling, you could also find soul fulfillment well beyond what you imagined for yourself. So I do have a short video that covers the general meaning of the North Node. And you can also check out the specifics of your North Node sign explained in depth by YouTube astrologer Astro Finesse. Both links are posted in the description box below. There's also an extended reading available to you called Everyday Alchemy and Practical Magic. In this about 15 to 20 minute extended reading, I consult the divine about the tools you can use to support yourself during your North Node journey for the month of October. And we look at crystals, herbs, essential oils, colors, and more. I also channel affirmations that you can use as personal mantras for the month. So, with that, let's begin. If you are new to my channel, in this North Node reading, let me just adjust this camera for the table here. In this North Node reading, I consult universal energies and how they filter down through the different frequencies. So we go universal energies, 5D, and then 3D, and I use some additional tarot cards to clarify how you can move from the 3D energy into a higher frequency for yourself, higher vibrational energy. And last month, I looked into past lives, soul memories, and Akashic records for insight into your current North Node journey. But this month, I've been guided to look at the ancestral energy. So that is what my guides are requesting for this month for the collective. So Sagittarius North Node, I will get right on into it with your universal energies. This is the Path of the Soul deck by Cheryl Lee Harnish. It's fractal art. So I'm grabbing 4 cards from this deck for Sagittarius North Node. 5 cards. It's flipped out. Which direction do you want me to pull them in? This way. Okay, so we have Ascension, Treasures, Inflow, Royal Order, and Path of the Soul. So what I see off the bat for you, Sagittarius North Node in your universal energies, you are being, your ascension path is open for you. So we have, the universe has opened up a pathway for the expansion and ascension of your soul. So you are being offered a lot of growth opportunities at this time. Treasures, seeing that you're going to start to see blessings in places where you didn't necessarily see them before. You may have some new opportunities come in, but this is more, I'm feeling the energy of you recognizing blessings in the mundane, or in things that, you kind of have been taking for granted, and not in a bad way. We all do it. Is when things become ordinary to us, we don't necessarily see the magic in them. And I'm seeing in treasures that everyday things will become like some of your most prized moments and possessions. It's partially the universe leveling them up for you, like making them more shiny and new, reviving them. And it's partially also a change in your perspective because of this ascension energy. In flow, which is master number 11, I see universal energies that are helping you to follow the stream of life. There are some challenging moments in that, but you're being given the resilience and the patience to surrender to the movements around you. But actually, this energy, they're showing me how it's very streamlined. There's some fast forward movement for you that requires little effort on your part. It actually requires you to just kind of relax and go with it. The royal order, I'm seeing, along with the path of the soul, because they came together. They're highlighting this trajectory to me. So there'll be a lot of progress in the month of October, from the new moon to the new moon. Things falling into place, which is also going to be helped by this treasures card, because certain things that you didn't necessarily regard as gifts and positive attributes that can help you along your development, they will fall into place for you. The universe is helping you put these in an order where it actually propels your soul growth, which means you'll be prioritizing some aspects of your life and deprioritizing, if that's a word, other aspects. Certain things and people will fall away, and others will increase in their importance, so that the energies that are around you are more beneficial to you. So we're going to check out the 5D. This is your higher self, your intuition, the inner nagging of, let's say the frequency your soul wants to vibrate at. So it may come also in the form of synchronicities. You have universal love, soul, sacral chakra, divine feminine, in the same spot as your mirror sign. I just read for Gemini, which is your equal and opposite, Grace, which they also got. And divine masculine. Ooh, that's a nice combination to have both divine feminine and divine masculine hang out in there. So in universal love, I am seeing especially with people, this treasure's energy is going to be high. So you're going to start regarding your relationships with people with more let's say seeing the positive ways that they can work for you. Sorry, I dropped something. Seeing the positive ways that your relationships can work for you, even if some of those relationships are strained. Because they all have a benefit to the bigger picture for you. And in the soul card, that is confirming that you're being prompted to interact on a higher frequency. And if people don't meet you up there, you still maintain your higher frequency. And this is starting in this month with the elevation of your sacral chakra, the cleansing and transformation of your sacral chakra. Which is the source of, your creativity, passions, has a lot to do with sexuality and abundance as well. So what I was feeling for you with the Royal Order and the Path of the Soul cards in your universal energies is that the universe is really lining up the elements of your life, people, places, things, jobs, to put you on an abundance path and help you get the most out of your life. And what's beautiful about that is that you have both the divine feminine and the divine masculine, which is great because your higher self is wanting to balance these two attributes. So, the receptive side and the active side, the nurturing side and the more focused and let's say can do. I'm struggling for the word right now. Something else is coming in. The two different ways of manifesting your reality. And grace comes right in between those two, along with the flow card over here. Meaning that like your higher self is ready to balance the divine feminine and the divine masculine in a way that is very fluid, and that helps you go with the current of life, which right now is trying to take you on a very positive journey, even if some of those moments don't feel so positive. So I see beautiful opportunities coming for you to choose to balance these two aspects, or to use one or the other in a place where you would normally have a knee-jerk reaction of one or the other. How to use those two in more harmony. So if we go down to the 3D energy, these are the situations that are presenting themselves in your life now, in your physical reality. Ooh, one went flying. Which way do you want this? This way, which means in the reverse. The Empress. So ways that are showing up in your 3D reality that are showing up as opportunities for you to move along your North Node trajectory. Magician in upright. This is the Tarot of the Divine, and I'm only using the majors. They wanted this one, but I flipped Death. I think they want another one in that position. Let's see what comes out. And the Devil in reverse. Do you want those two together? Yeah. And the Hierophant. Okay. And on the underside, they want me to show you the underside. You have the World card on the underside. The completion, a grand completion of a cycle. All right, so Empress in reverse. So I'm seeing two things. Either a person in your life with a feminine energy that is challenging. So it's likely a woman, but it doesn't have to be a woman. I'm getting the impression that some feminine aspected figure in your past or present is a difficult person for you to forgive. And that forgiveness is a gateway to this universal love and soul expansion. It's one of the key relationships that you are to see from a higher perspective in order to fully learn the lessons from it that are intended for you. Now, in the Magician, it's interesting. They're pointing out to me that the Magician in this card is female. but it's next to the divine masculine here, which points more, once again, to the balancing of the two aspects. And they're pointing to your role in this particular relationship, because this Empress in reverse energy is almost the type of person who never really does anything to you, but they know how to get under your skin. Like, and you end up being the bad guy often because you're the one who ends up lashing out with this Magician and divine masculine energy, which in turn continues the momentum of this relationship being kind of toxic. With the Death card and the Devil in reverse, oh, got wax on this. So I'm seeing that there's a lot of red in both of these cards. So I feel like this person who is challenging you, or was a challenging relationship, is a challenging relationship, really has something to do with your sense of security in the world, with your root chakra. And it's difficult for you to see this person in a different light. So you're being given the opportunity to see behind the curtain, but this toxic relationship that you've already defined in a very definite way, it is keeping you from being able to really regard the person as just a person. So the energy is maternal. And this could be, once again, anybody who nurtured you, but not in a way that really fed you, and not in a way that you could access this divine, that you have a good handle or impression on the divine feminine energy. So this one has been, usually I get 2 or 3 streams of information. This one is like, I'll ask if there's another possibility of how this can be interpreted, but I'll finish this Hierophant card first. So the Hierophant is on the sacral chakra, their ascension and path of the soul, and the royal order. We are working collectively to clear our collective sacral chakra. So, for some of you, this toxic relationship affects how you approach intimacy and sexuality and desire. Ooh. This also is coming out as your relationship with money. And abundance, which makes sense because you have the Treasures card here, finding, seeing, and feeling the abundance and the blessings of the things you already have. So they're saying to me that the Empress in reverse, if it's not a female figure in your life, there are some people where it is that is basically the current state of your divine feminine aspect, of your feminine aspect. So it's leaning towards not a full embracing or understanding of the divine feminine aspect. And for some of you, this is showing up in your world as fighting this flow. Because the divine feminine also is very reverent of the cycles of nature, for example. And the moon cycles, which is why I do this reading on the new moon, because it's a good time to set intentions for what you want up until the full moon. And then at the full moon, gratitude and releasing down to the new moon. So that's kind of the cycle I work with. And I'm getting for some of you, someone out there has a closet kind of toxic impression of femininity, or their definition of femininity is a toxic one. So they're giving me the example of, women are into money, women are gold diggers, you may have a closeted negative view of women who stay at home or women who are housewives. And so you could be a woman or a man in this case. There's also women who don't really value the housewife role, or see it as something like a punishment, or women not living to their full potential. I'm not here to tell you what to think about it. I'm just being told for you to look at it deeply, not on the surface, what you tell your friends, or what you do to be PC in public. Like, really deeply look at it. For some of you, you had a mother who was a housewife. So look at what you really feel about her, or what you really think of her. Not everyone has that. This is, remember, take what resonates and leave the rest. For some of you, you have a wife or an ex-wife who, constantly, you felt like your main function was money. So they're giving me all of those scenarios in there. And those are all things in addition to the societal premium that has been placed on masculinity for so long. These are all the ways that the divine feminine has kind of fallen to the wayside or been put in a negative light. And also divine masculinity, or our definition of masculinity, is not necessarily divine, right? And this is where the Hierophant comes in. So you may be finding yourself being triggered by certain, like they're showing me television programs where, male and female roles are very defined. So I saw I Love Lucy for a second. And Hawaii Five-0, of all things. Why, I don't know. So if you're watching Hawaii Five-0, or you watch it, and are somehow triggered by something in it, this may be for you. And they're telling me that a healthy sacral chakra is also when the divine masculine and divine feminine are in balance. Your ability to give and receive are in balance. So let's go on to how we can bridge these energies, how we can move through these 3D situations you're facing into the 5D. We have the moon. Okay, that's definitely, as I said, investigating like really your deeper thoughts, desires, and beliefs. They definitely want you to take a look at that. Whether or not they want, is this a slip or do you want these? They want them. Okay. Because your equal and opposite sign had those too. Oh, I went this way. We're going this way. Yep. The Magician and the Ace of Swords. Are these together? Yeah. Oh, Spirit got a lot to say today. The Two of Cups, the Wheel, and the Hierophant. Again, you had the Hierophant. Whew. The Hermit, the Page of Pentacles, and the Sun. So, investigating really your relationship to what you consider masculine and feminine, male roles and female roles. Like that is for us humans on Earth, that is the simplest kind of place for us to start, is to start with, what do I expect of a man? What do I expect of a woman? Once again, or masculine and feminine energies, we have all of them, or we have both of them. All of us have both of them. But to kind of make our way up the scale up the ladder to divine feminine and divine masculine, we have to look at the very practical 3D reality of, your biological gender roles. This may also ask of you to look into, this is kind of a sensitive topic, so I'll say that right off the bat, how you feel about people who do not feel like they're in the right, that they've been assigned the right biological sex. Analyzing your beliefs around that. So I'm going to leave that thought there. But that's what they want you to look into, your impressions of the masculine and the feminine, men and women, and people who two-spirited or I'm trying to be sensitive with my words. But I'll just say what they're saying to me, even though this may not resonate well on YouTube. They want you to look at how you feel about homosexuality and people who feel like they're not in the right body for their soul. And how you feel about all of those things on the list will then start to help you navigate this balance between divine masculine and divine feminine. The Magician and the Ace of Swords. So Sagittarius, North Node, your equal and opposite sign. Gemini North Node, of which you are a South Node. Gemini South Node. They got this in their reading as well. Exactly these two cards together. So what I'm seeing here is once opening, this is now, it's furthering from the moon, and the same thought that I was expressing previously, opening your awareness. They're offering you an awareness into your own psyche and how your beliefs about gender roles, masculine and feminine, manifest into your world through your sacral chakra. So they're saying to me, it also has to do with how you create, who you create with. Do you value women's or men's opinions as much as you value, vice versa? And they're also telling me, like, do you really value creating from your intuition, or do you create from your heart, or do you create from your head? Not a bad thing, either one, but can there be a balance between the two? Right? And the Hierophant is there. It's not just you who's figuring it out. We're all figuring it out, and you get to tap into the more collective psyche on all of these topics. So you have the Hierophant again, the Two of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. It goes like this. In this one, they're showing me like that what's streaming into each of these bowls is kind of the same. Once again, divine masculine, divine feminine. This is very Western views of what colors define what gender. But this bowl is blue and this bowl is pink. And they want you to look into not just how you think, but how your family thinks about it. Like what has been passed down to you through your relationship with your parents, or through watching your parents' relationship on gender roles. And can you dare to kind of look behind this curtain and see those parents or whichever people have taught you anything about male-female relationships? Or sorry, I really should not limit it to male-female relationships. Let's just say relationships. The dynamic of relationships, like what you have learned about that. It is coming through very much as masculine and feminine. Now, you may be in a same-sex relationship where one has more masculine attributes and one has more feminine attributes. And that is definitely encompassed in what I'm saying as well. And they're saying to look at your first love. I'm getting to take a look at like your first, the first time you really felt you were in love and how that went for you and how that affected how you think about your expectations for how you should be treated, how you treat people in your relationships, love relationships. The Wheel of Fortune is kind of an enigma for me in this one, but they're giving me the word acceptance. So can you look at those past relationships and what they taught you, or what you experienced as lessons, as opposed to categorizing them as good or bad? And in the last position here, we have the Hermit, the Page of Pentacles, and the Sun coming near the Magician, Divine Masculine. They're asking you to really own your part in all of your relationships. And once you own that, then you can find better balance and perhaps transform it into what you want, into how you want to pursue your future relationships, like how you would like to be, how you would like to be seen, what you would like to receive in return. Like, what is it that you would like to experience in your relationships? And I'm getting the word forgiveness and absolving yourself for anything that you felt that you've done wrong in relationships, and also giving that to your partners, past and present. So some of you have some massive, I don't know why they give me the word massive, but significant forgiving to do, shining light on and healing your relationship with the Divine Masculine. So I'm seeing that some of you had either troublesome relationships with your father, or with romantic relationships. So put it this way, if this relationship we're talking about here is with your father, and you're sitting down thinking about it, you may or may not find that you still feel like there was something you could have done in that relationship to make it better, or, there may be some really deep-seated blame or shame. This is just the example they're giving me. Some of you resonate with it. For some of you, this is just an example to help you identify something in your life. So if you had that, but they're showing me now, like this being a child sitting in their room, wishing and wondering that, their dad came home, or they didn't work such long hours, or, they wanted to play instead of watching TV, or just hanging with their friends, whatever that case may be. But you were a child. So this Page of Pentacles is almost like, well, this is the moment of acceptance of whatever that emotion is that you're carrying as a tangible thing in your aura. And the Sun is you basically enlightening yourself to the reality of that situation and giving yourself and that person permission to totally move on from that dynamic and from that situation, from any long, deep harbored feelings towards it. So, in summary, all of these cards that are guiding you on how to move to a higher frequency in the month of October is, look at your relationships with feminine and masculine, which is best done in our human form by looking at the just gender roles, male and females, in our lives, how we've interacted with them, and what that has caused us to think and feel about what masculine and feminine energy is. And it's just they're saying just the awareness. Just the awareness is enough at this point. Which one? Okay. So we're looking into your ancestral messages. We have the Prince of Diamonds. Abiaye. I don't have the correct pronunciation of all of these cards, so I will apologize ahead of time for anyone who's a practitioner of any of the spiritualities that appear in this particular deck. This is the Ashotele deck by Akamara Tarot. Earth was born. The tongue carries life, but also death. The Nine of Hearts. Ibukun, blessing. He who wakes up early in the morning receives a bundle of blessings. The Prince of Hearts. Abi Ife, love is born. The heart and the bottom of the sea are unfathomable. And key 8, Agbara, the elders of the village are the boundaries. Okay, so your ancestors are basically coming through with speaking things into being. And this comes right in by your Magician card here. Speaking things into being. And because you have all this ascension energy coming in, it's very important that you are aware of what your words, how you use your words. And this is also the Ace of Wands. Oh, sorry, Ace of Swords underneath here. Thoughts and communication. Be very careful of how you use your words, because they are creating the dynamics of your relationships, and they're either helping you connect better with people or separating or distancing you from people, from connections. And as much as they're telling me, as much as you think that you can really go everything alone, you're not meant to. None of us are meant to. There's always dynamics with people, social dynamics that are at play, even if we decide to do something independently. Sometimes we're pushed out of a group so that we can find our footing on our own and stand very true in our own power, right? But that doesn't mean you poo-poo on the people who edged you out of the group. But you can definitely thank them for giving you that push that you needed to stand very true in your authenticity. So this is about, how do you frame your story? And how you frame your story is affecting your creativity and your love life in particular. Then on the blessing card, he who wakes up early in the morning receives a bundle of blessings. I'm getting that many of you in this Sagittarius North Node group are very hard workers, perhaps early risers. And you're very close to reaping the benefits of your work. This is coming near the Treasures card in Divine Masculine, so it's a very active energy. You are very used to pursuing things, pursuing what you want. You're very used to pursuing what you want. And the universe is seeing and acknowledging that. Your ancestors are seeing and acknowledging that, and are applauding you. So that seems like a little boost of confidence they want to send you. And then in the heart, love is born, the heart and the bottom of the sea are unfathomable. This coming through, moving through life with grace and challenges with grace is, you're not going to understand everything along the way. There is mystery to life, and that is part of, like, the divine mysteries is part of what faith is all about. So and it's also telling you that, like, both love and the sea seem to be bottomless. There are parts of the sea where we can't go that deep. And there is right now in our collective a depth of love that we find hard to get to. And we almost can't believe that anyone would love that much. Like, what's the catch? You know what I'm saying? So your ancestors are pulling out this message of keep believing that there's more. Keep believing that more is possible for you, and just keep riding the momentum with assurance that there are things that you may never understand about it, but you'll come out good. Is that all? Sorry, I'm asking. Just a moment for that card. Okay. And then we'll go to this one. The elders of the village are the boundaries. Ooh. This is confirmation that you need to look at your parental figures in your life in order to go down this path of the soul. So some of your limitations or your perceived limitations are from your elders. And they're going to speak more to this. So just give me a moment. If you are a parent, you may be the one in your lineage that helps heal some of the broken parent-child relationships dynamics that have gone on in the past. Now, I know that sounds like a tall order, but there are chosen ones, chosen people in their families who are there to break a pattern. And breaking the pattern does not mean that you have to, stand at a table at a family function and give a speech that the whole family is going to start, turn over a new chapter. You just have to do it for yourself and your family. And some people will see it and appreciate it. Other people will think that you're better than them. And other people will just whatever they think. But that's not the point. Your personal healing of that relationship and refusing to perpetuate that relationship will set into motion positive transformation down your ancestral line into the future, right? Okay. Yeah, that's about it. I think that's about it. Is that it? Okay, so we're going on to our oracle cards. Let's see if there's something in the elemental oracle. They're already telling me no. There's nothing in the elemental oracle for you. So we're going to go straight to the wisdom of the oracle by Colette Baron Reed. Oops. Yeah. I've been doing quite a few readings in a row today, so my room has kind of been like a hub for the ancestors from every sign, and things just keep falling. Things keep falling off the walls and off the desk and random. Like, I just keep hearing things dropping. Yes. Yeah. Thanks for coming, guys. We're always happy to hear from you. Oh. Uh-oh. I think. Okay, so we have card number 23, peace, and I think one flew. Oh. Okay, one moment. Okay, that was interesting. I thought one of the cards flew under the chair, but it wasn't actually. I found a card, but not from the deck I was shuffling. I found this card from earlier in the day when I was setting the space. So I'll show it to you because Spirit sent me looking for a card, and here it is. El Moira, Awakening Presence. The universe is with you. We're a cloak of protection and love. So I'll just show that to you. Maybe I'll put it here as a bonus little message from Spirit for you. And possibly for me too. Now I'll pull a oracle card from, there it is. Not Awakening to Spirit. What is it called? Return of Spirit. There we go. Worthy. And it has kind of this 4 hemispheres with almost a hierophant in the middle. All right, I'm going to read from the guidebook. And if any other messages come up for you, Sagittarius North Node, I will let you know once I'm done reading. So we're at card 23, peace. Essential meanings: freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. The oracle message: it doesn't get any better than this. A quiet mind, a heart fulfilled, freedom from want, and the soul's satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in your world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful. Enjoy it. The relationship message says, When two people are in true alignment with one another, they have an innate harmony between them. They are as two perfectly tuned instruments playing together. Sometimes it's impossible to tell who is who. Peace is yours, and it is to be savored. And the prosperity message: this is one of those times when you're capable of clear vision about your work and how you create your prosperity. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're called by a presence to step into your power. Just being is enough, for you are in peaceful harmony with spirit, and it shows in your work. Okay. So they want me to just reaffirm to you that you don't, other than this like reflection that they would like you to do, analysis of your divine, of your feminine, masculine, female, male beliefs. They say you're exactly where you are supposed to be, and that you should just relax and go with it, because they are setting things up for you. And all that they require from you is that you kind of keep the way clear. And your way of clearing the way is by questioning and recognizing your thoughts and beliefs about gender roles, masculine and feminine. Okay, and now we'll check out Worthy from Return of Spirit. I just got a synchronicity, but I'll leave that for another time. Or no, they want me to tell you. So I had accidentally, this is Return of Spirit deck. I had called it Awakening to Spirit. And that's actually a channel on YouTube. And I believe she's also in Canada. And then I just saw a notification on my phone that Awakening to Spirit just posted a video for Sagittarius. So for some of you, you may want to check that one out. Maybe there's something there for you. Even though that reading is for Sagittarius sun sign, but this is Sagittarius North Node. It's also a significant placement. There may be something in there for you. All right. Worthy. You are one of the loving spirits who has come to be in service to humanity this lifetime. This strong desire and need to give to your fellow man is embedded deep within your soul's blueprint. You play an important role in the cosmic plan. This card has come to you today as Spirit's way of giving you a much-needed reminder that you hold a great worth and value. You can no longer question whether you are worthy or if you have value in this world. We all look to our physical world for confirmation. We question whether we are good enough, wanted, and needed. We want the world to tell us what we are doing well and that it wants what we have to offer. But your value and worth cannot come from anyone or anything outside of you. Just as you are, right now in this moment, you are enough. It is time for you to begin to understand your own worth and value. Spirit is asking you to start now to understand just how important you are. Begin by asking yourself, how much would you value someone who was as kind to you as you are to others? If you met a person whose inner heart was as caring and loving as yours, would you value them in your life? If someone gave it to you as you give to others, if someone gave to you as you give to others, would you value it? Of course you would. You need to see yourself. See just how valuable you really are. Your worth does not come from what you do or how you behave. Your worth comes from the fact that you are part of the God source. Once you fully realize this, you will play an invaluable role in helping others to discover their own worth too. So they are asking me to tell you that especially this worthiness in relationship to your parental relationships, and especially your relationship with your father, is worth looking into. that was a pun, but maybe not at a good time. So that is all I have for you today, Sagittarius North Node. I hope you got something out of this and something useful to help you along your North Node journey. At this time, you can check out the extended reading if you are so interested. It is linked below on Ko-fi, where you could also follow me. And otherwise, I will see you next month in November for your next North Node reading. All right, Sagittarius North Node, take care, be well, and stay blessed.